Today's Farm Bureau Capital Conversation is with Representative Milton Nicks Jr. from Marion, serving District 50. What has made the strongest impression in your first session?
The strongest impression probably that I've had here being a freshman is probably the power of the influence that you have on the operations of the state of Arkansas, the helping of the communities, all these things. That you have that power to do that, and we have to do it in a way that knowing that we're doing the right thing, and you can't always do everything doesn't always work the way you want it to work, but in the end we come together as a body and we be able to do the best that we can for our citizens, our constituents back home.
In the City, County, Local Affairs Committee, you balance city and rural interests. How do you approach that?
Well, in approaching those issues, every community, different communities are different, but when we make rules in the city, county government committees, we look at it as being able to accomplish really the best results. I mean, we look at each issue that comes in and what's best for the state overall. So it's a great committee to be on. I really enjoy that committee because it deals mainly with local communities that's coming in that has need or has desire for things that we can handle with local communities.
The Transportation Committee has considered several highway funding mechanisms. How will the committee move forward with highway funding?
And that's been a big issue throughout this session and through the committee. There's been some proposals that came through that didn't make it out, the funding for the highway department and those things. And that's something that I think we're going to have to work on during the off season, to come back in and try to find some funding for them, because they've got to have funding.
How important are caucuses and other legislative groups to the process?
I think they're very effective, because one thing is, if you had all 100 of us in one room, it's a lot easier to have a smaller group to discuss and then go into the the larger legislature. I think the caucuses are good. I think you gain information that you need, and as freshmen, you have the experience of people that can help us understand really the process. Because when you first come in, you really don't know the process. You really don't know the way that things are to be done, and so they help us develop us to be able to be effective in those issues and things.
What accomplishments are you most excited about sharing with your district?
The most exciting thing for me is being on the city, county, local community committee is that we addressed the overcrowding in the county jails. We were able to address that, and then the correction facilities. So that is one of the big things, and that affects just every county within the state. So that was one of the great accomplishments. I think one of the other things is that we were able to get the tax cut for the middle income. I think those things were some of the greatest things personally in that aspect.
What inspired you to run for state representative?
After I retired from the state police, and that I have a construction business, but I've always been involved in community services, community activities, and so this was the only position, I'd say, as a legislator that I felt that I could do really the most good, be more effective here, as opposed to a local office. But I just wanted to do this, wanted to be a servant of our state.
Does being a state representative give you a sense of satisfaction?
It's a great satisfaction to be able to come down and represent not only just the 30,000 people that I represent in my district, but also affects the whole state of Arkansas. And to see people come in and sit in the committees and explain their situations and tell us those stories, and if we can help those, that's what we're here to help.